I wanted to do a quick video on body monitoring, body checking. You might have another name for it, but basically it's any form of checking process that you do on a routine basis to make sure you have no symptoms or signs of illness. So for some people, they use things like heart rate monitors. Some people use, I don't know what they're called because I never used them, but it's to check the amount of oxygen in their blood, I think. Some people use urine testing strips or stool strips that check for blood. Some people repeatedly get on the scales to make sure they're not losing weight for no apparent reason. You tell yourself that you're taking a preventative measure by keeping an eye on yourself and checking that there's no signs that something's wrong. Most people start to feel embarrassed of their own behaviour through doing this. I know I did as well. And what happens is we start to do it sort of covertly in the hope that people won't notice. It just so happened that at the time I was reading a book from the library, and it was on overcoming OCD. I'd read all of the other books that I could find on health, anxiety and CBT, so I'd sort of run out of things to read, so I went for the OCD book, and coincidentally it happens to share a lot of traits with health anxiety. Health anxiety causes you to lose absolutely any form of trust that you might have had previously in your body. Whereas before you had health anxiety, you might have waited for your body to tell you something was wrong, like you had a stomach ache or a rash that came up, and then you would react to it and go and get it sorted out. Because you've lost trust in your body, you don't trust that your body will pick up on those things. So what you do instead is you create a ritual where you can check, and that gives you a moment of reassurance, knowing that everything's still the same. I read the book, and it said that the biggest thing you can do to help with rituals is to go cold turkey on them and to stop them completely. And I understand that that will sound very daunting to anybody who has health anxiety. It's very scary thinking, well, if I'm not checking and the doctor's not interested, then it seems like too great a risk to just stop. I would say I stopped doing it overnight. My rituals were so obsessive that they were taking up all of my time, and they were draining me, and they were making life too complicated, and I didn't even get the reassurance from doing it anymore. I didn't even feel a moment of peace from having checked. So I could have done it incrementally and just stopped a little bit at a time, stopped with certain monitoring and then stopped with some more, but I just decided, you know what, I've just had enough, and I stopped all of my checking processes overnight, and I would say the results are very surprising. It does take some getting used to. Your need to check will be quite intense, and the longer you go without checking, the more intense it gets, until finally you start to wonder if you're being irresponsible by not checking, in case something's happened and you haven't checked for it. And that becomes even more difficult then, because it becomes a moral dilemma of whether you should be checking because it's preventative, or whether you shouldn't check because it makes you feel worse and you lose trust in your body. So it does go on to another stage which is quite difficult. However, it will get to a point not far in, once you've been doing it, that the idea of checking frightens you more than the idea of not checking. And I think it's at that point that you start to get some footing when it comes to recovery. I think if you can struggle through it for 2 weeks, you'll be okay with it. You won't want to check. And it's only then that you will start to rely on your body to give you indicators. So that would be my recommendation. Get angry, reclaim your life by saying no, because every time you give into a ritual, you're feeding your house anxiety, because you won't let it regulate by itself. You won't let your body do its job. So you're essentially living life manually. You know, you're not just doing things naturally. You're physically going out there to keep the wheels turning, so to speak, and that's a very time-consuming job and very labor-intensive, and it's very draining. So if you can, you know, even if you try it for a week or if you try it for a day would be a start. See what happens when you stop checking. And I mean, when I say stop checking, I mean don't even check in disguise. You know, don't try and hide it, but still try to get away with it. You know, if you're brushing your hair, don't check how many hairs there are as to whether or not your hair is falling out. These are all very unhelpful rituals that I think are right at the root of house anxiety. So if anybody does choose to have a go at doing this, I wish you luck. I'm here for support should you want to message me. I'm always happy to talk to people when I have the time, and I've usually got a lot of time because I work from home. And yeah, I'll be interested to know in the comments whether or not this is something that you do, and if you do decide to have a go at stopping, let me know how that's going. I'd be interested to know. Okay, so for now, I shall see you all later. Bye bye.